Today is the 5th of May, and it is also when we are entering into both the spiritual and chaotic peaks of this entire year. So we're going to unpack this using Chinese astrology because the months that we move through are the elements that come into season throughout the year. So I have already done a video on the entire energy of this year because we are in the year of the fire horse. I will put a little link to that video if you haven't watched it already, but basically we have so many overlapping energies of fire coming through. We're in a 20-year age that is also marked by the element of fire. This is a 20-year period that only comes around once every 180 years, so it is a big moment in time. We also have fire in both our heavenly stem and our earthly branch. So we have double fire coming in this year. It's not just fire through the horse, but it is the fire horse. So both of these characters are fire. So we already have 3 counts of fire. And whenever we have so much concentrated energy within an element, all the other elements get thrown out of balance. So it is really important for you to go and watch that video first to get an understanding of why so much fire is such a big emphasis this year, and it really makes all of us feel a little bit out of whack, a little bit out of balance. Now, May all the way through to August is our fire season within this fire year. So we have lots of different overlapping cycles in Chinese astrology, but essentially we have the fire age, which is a 20-year period. We have the fire year, which we're going through now. It's also in a fire season in terms of the years. And then within that, we are going into the fire season of the months. So we have essentially 4 counts of fire, if I'm counting that right: the age, the heavenly stem of the year, the earthly branch of the year, and then our month. So we call whatever energy we come into each month the energy that is in season. What is the energy that is prevailing on the earth right now? We have just moved through the wood season. So we've had the months of the tiger, the rabbit, and also the dragon. So May the 5th, which is today, officially marks our entry into the month of the snake. So this is the chart for May 5th to June 5th. We are in the month of the water snake. Now, if we just backtrack a little bit, moving through the months of February all the way up until now, we were in the wood season. So we were here. We had the month of the tiger and the rabbit, which were both wood. And as you can see, wood feeds into fire. So this fire energy of the year was strengthened by the months that we went through. However, as we now move into the snake and the horse, we are fully in the fire season. So what's really interesting is that in the past couple of months from February up until now, wood really supports fire. So fire had a lot of fuel to feed from. But now as we go into the fire months, it's almost like we are at the peak of the ignition. Before we had fuel to feed the fire, now all of this energy is coming to a head. It's coming to the peak. It is just pure fire. Fire as its own element is very expressive, but it is also very chaotic. It's very frenetic in a way, because if you imagine the physical form of a fire, well, firstly, it needs something to latch on, whereas all of the other 4 elements can exist on their own, right? We can have a tree on its own, we have the soil on its own, we have water on its own, we have metal on its own, but fire needs something to latch onto, to ground. And so without any other grounding factors, this can really exacerbate the feeling of ungroundedness, of feeling just like this chaotic kind of frenzy, not just within ourselves and psychologically, but also in the world. The last couple of months, again, things were happening to really feed into this energy, but now we're really stepping into just the full force of this energy, which can be really ungrounding and unbalancing. That's why over the next couple of months, it's really important to dig deep within yourself. What is going on for you internally as you are navigating all of this chaos in the outside world, maybe in your own world? You really have to dig deep. Otherwise, it can be really easy to just get carried away with all of this frenetic energy. Because remember, even though fire is our connection to source, to the universe, it is all about awakening, activating, illuminating, aligning with our inner spirit, our inner fire. that does not just magically get bestowed on us. What we have to face are all the things that are not in alignment, all the things that we have been avoiding, which typically is a lot of deeper psychological stuff that we have to sift through. And so all of that discomfort really is getting brought up and unearthed right now so we can actually deal with it, so that the outcome can be alignment, it can be awakening and illumination and all of this good stuff that we want to reach. But the journey is something that we have to go through. We can't just avoid it. So these next few months, like I said, is full on fire. More chaos, more confusion. But again, pay attention to where you get little sparks of insights. What gets illuminated for you through expression. This can be through conversations you have with people, through the things that you learn, the things that you read, the media that you consume, all of those things. And like I said, because we need something to ground in, because fire does not ground on its own, grounding, physical grounding is really important to integrate what is going on. Again, last few months we had this grounding, right? We had the fuel for this flame, but right now it is just fire. It is just ignition. So physical grounding, things like walking outside, being in nature, meditation, yoga, not hot yoga though, more of the yin yoga, more of the slower yoga, stretching, things like that. Things that really slow you down and anchor you are going to really help when it comes to really integrating and understanding what these energies are bringing up for you. So for this month, if you have a snake or a pig in your 4 pillars or in your luck pillars, that area of your life will be activated within this month. Now, what's really interesting here is we have yin fire. The snake is yin fire, and yin fire is a little bit more unstable compared to yang fire. Yin fire is, you can think of it like candlelight. It can be this sudden, more explosive kind of energy that just gets ignited at any time. Luckily, we do have a little bit of water. If you have watched my Year of the Horse video, you know that water is critical this year. So we do have a little bit, but the heavenly stem, amongst so much fire, this water is really not going to do too much. It does help a little bit, but it's going to evaporate with all of this fire really quickly. Plus, we usually feel the effect of the stem, so the top character, more throughout the first half of, in this case, the month. But again, the fire of the snake and also this year is still going to be prevailing underneath. So this brings a little bit more of support in the first half of the month, but again, we have to be taking the initiative to go into our psychological depths this month to work through the energy and to also help us ground. Now, one way that we can boost our own water is through consuming foods that are strong in this element. So things like black beans, black sesame, also any kind of stew or soup, because with that, we are nurturing the yin energy in our bodies, which helps to kind of counterbalance all of this hot, dry fire that we have going on. Let's take a look at the next month, which is the month of the horse. So let me click here. Here we go. So we can see we have a double up of the horse now, and this is full yang fire. If you have a rat or a horse in your 4 pillars or your luck pillars, then this will activate that for you. This is ignition as well as fuel. So whereas before in this month, we have a little bit of water in the heavenly stem, next month from June 5th to July 7th, we have wood. Remember, wood feeds fire. This month, we have water, which controls the fire a little bit, but next month, we are really feeling the full force of this combination. So it's like the last couple months from February up until now, but kind of more, because at least from February up until now, we had the influence of metal and water, which counterbalances the fire a little bit. But this month in particular is going to be really quite chaotic and frenetic in its energy, both externally and also within ourselves. Yang fire is bold, it is strong, and this really will be mirroring the energy of this year because we have this double up of the horse. Now, when one element is strong, I've said this already, all the other elements get thrown out of balance. So we are all feeling a little bit out of sorts this year, but this month in particular is going to feel extremely chaotic and a little bit confusing. Now, if you have strong water in your chart, so much fire happening here can actually be really helpful to kind of warm up the chart. This goes for metal as well, because metal and water are really cooling. So having a lot of fire really activates the chart and really warms up your chart. But that is not the case for a lot of us. So for most of us, we really have to watch out for all the elements and making sure that they are being kept in balance. Now, to help with water, any foods that support and nourish the kidney is going to be really good, because water represents, or it rules, our kidney function as well. But having all of this yang fire means that things are going to be even hotter and even drier. So we really need to go deep, go into our water, into our yin energy as well. If you are not sleeping well, or you're sleeping really late, that is also going to be detrimental for your yin energy, because the peak of yin is from 11 p.m. to 1 a.m. So if you are not asleep before then, you really are drying out your body even more. And if you do not have any water in your chart already, that can be even more detrimental to you. Okay, so unless you work like night shifts, in which case, sometimes we just can't help that we can't sleep before 11 p.m. But if that is not the case for you, please try to sleep early and get enough rest for your kidneys, for your internal water energy. But these few months, the goal really is to understand how we can keep our own balance and our own internal guidance system switched on amongst all of this chaos and confusion. This really is challenging us to find our own internal balance and our internal rhythm. Because again, like I said, when the world goes through change, the outcome is going to be, as we all hope, something that is going to be positive for all of us. But how do we get there? We first have to face everything that is not in alignment with that system that we are building, with the life that we want to build. Now, just very quickly, I want to take a look at July 7th to August 7th. This is going to be the month of the wood goat. So with the goat, we are in Earth now. However, this is still the end of the fire season. So we're still in the fire season, but we are then transitioning into metal after this. So this is like when fire starts to decline a little bit. However, even after August, we do have fire coming up in the heavenly stems. So the fire season is not over, but from August onwards, as we move into metal and water seasons, things will start to kind of calm down and cool down a little bit. So May up until August really is the peak of this fiery, chaotic, frenetic, confusing energy that we have going on this year. For July to August as well, we have more wood in the heavenly stems. So again, this is feeding into the fire. And then with the goat, we are in Earth, which draws on the fire, but this is also the end of the fire season. So it's still pretty fiery in and of itself. So if there's one thing that you can remember from this breakdown of these next couple months, it is to ground. It is to find your own psychological grounding. How do you find your own balance? How do you navigate through all of this chaotic energy right now and find the connection you have with your own spirituality, your own intuition, your own soul, and what speaks to you authentically?